She is. Tranquilo. Tranquilo. It looks like they're coming our way, the both of them.
This is the couple who wanted to stay hidden. And this is the video they don't want you to see.
I'm calling the police!
Crime Watch Daily hunted these two down in their tropical hideaway, and they aren't happy to see us.
Get away from us! I'm telling you right now!
Do they know something? Did they do something? Are they trying to hide something?
It's like they just erased Doris.
Get away from us!
It starts in Fort Valley, Georgia. Stately mansions, tobacco, and cotton fields. 5.3 square miles of Southern charm.
Lots and lots of peach trees because Fort Valley is in Peach County. Very conservative community, very Southern.
And you couldn't find a better example of Southern hospitality than Doris. At Westfield School in nearby Perry, she was the cheerleader that everybody loved. But no one adored Doris more than her older sister, Leanne.
I was the brunette, she was the blonde. We were together, you know, no one could tear the bond between the two of us.
Infectious smile, dedicated student, and talented too.
She was very artistic. She could sit down and draw anything, and just by looking at it, or maybe even just imagining it.
And if what the girl from Middle Georgia imagined was a family, she found the beginnings of that at the University of Georgia. There, during a winter storm, Doris would meet a young aspiring golf pro named Jon Worrell.
There was a snow day and classes were canceled, and so all of the college kids were out playing in the snow, and Jon and Doris happened to live right across from each other in the apartment complex.
But Doris's family finds her new boyfriend a little odd.
He was just sort of standoffish. He just didn't like to be around. It was sort of hard to have a conversation with him.
Right out of college, Doris takes the name Worrell, and the couple puts down roots 100 miles from Fort Valley in Jon's hometown of Douglas, Georgia.
So do you feel like your sister was marrying into a good and wealthy, prominent family?
I did. I really did. They all go to church. They all go to the country club after church and eat a big Sunday lunch together. And they were a very tight-knit family.
Robert Preston, the editor of the local newspaper, grew up with the Worrell family and took an instant liking to Jon's sweet new bride.
Doris had the heart, and that was one thing about her. She was such a kind, caring person who was willing to give what she had to help other people.
Doris gets a job as a school teacher, and the family grows, first by 2 girls, then a little boy. But the expanding brood squeezes out Jon's dreams of pro golf.
They decided that he didn't need to be on the road all the time. He needed to do something else, and so he did.
That something else was a family amusement center he'd call Jon's Sport Park. A go-kart track, an arcade, even a little kid's ball pit and obstacle course called Tube Town. The Worrells seemed to have it all, 3 beautiful kids and a thriving business in a tight-knit community focused on church and family.
When you looked at them, looked at the family, 2 girls, a little boy, you know, very influential, very wealthy family.
And that family was about to unexpectedly grow. At church services one Sunday, they meet a young girl in need, a pretty, shy 15-year-old named Paola Yarbury. An immigrant without papers from Venezuela, she'd been abandoned by her guardian aunt and found herself on the church's doorstep and homeless. That's something a good Christian like Doris couldn't allow.
My sister had a heart of gold. And she let Paula come over and stay. She said, come stay, you can sleep on our sofa. And Paula did. And at some point it transitioned from her staying on the sofa for a few nights to actually living with them.
Paula fits right in, helping with the younger kids, working side by side with Jon at the sport park. After 4 years and at the age of 19, she has become one of the family.
I thought Paula was was a wonderful, sweet person. Again, always at church, always smiling, great personality.
Did your opinion of her change?
My opinion of a lot of people in this case has changed. So yes.
A sweltering hot September morning in Douglas would be the day everything changed. Jon's sport park was closed. Jon and Paula had scheduled some deep cleaning of the facility. But today would be different. Today, Doris, normally a stay-at-home mom, would help clean the kiddie tunnels.
Why was Doris cleaning the amusement park?
I don't know.
She's the owner's wife.
Yes.
Did she always do that?
No, she had never done that. But she
Hold on. Doris had never gone there before to clean?
No.
But this time she had to?
Yes. She said that.
Whose idea was that?
Paula.
Around 9:30 a.m., Jon allegedly ducks out for a trip to the hardware store, leaving Doris and Paula alone. And sometime between 9:40 and 11:15, gunfire explodes in Jon's sport park.
I was sitting at the office and I heard a call come over the scanner that there was an armed robbery at Jon's sports park. So I looked at one of my reporters and I said, grab a camera and go out to the sports park and see what's going on out there. We might can get a story out of this.
Minutes later, Robert's reporter calls back with an update. This was more than just a robbery.
And he said, well, the crime scene van just pulled up and they went in with their boxes and briefcases and equipment and all that. And I just slumped down in my chair and I told him, I said, somebody inside the park's dead.
Coming up, a gruesome discovery.
She had her hand over her head and got shot and took off part of her finger, went through her head.
A tangled web of suspicion and panic.
She was very antsy, and she said, what'd they say, what'd they say, what'd they say?
Are ruthless killers hiding in plain sight?
Jon may have had at least 3 affairs.
Yes.
Anyone we know?